Everybody wants a side hustle that prints money while they sleep. But most of what you hear online, drop shipping, day trading, passive income in your pajamas, either doesn't work or isn't realistic when you're just starting out. Since I was 12, I've tested over 10 real side hustles, some that paid almost nothing, some that taught me skills worth way more than money, and a few that completely changed the direction of my career. So in this video, I'm breaking them all down. I'll rate each one by how much it paid, how flexible it actually was, and how valuable the experience turned out to be. So you can skip the scams and find the right side hustle for your life. And if you're tired of being told to just start an Amazon store, I've linked my free side hustle selector below to help you get started. My first side hustle was delivering newspapers at 12 years old. It was brutal. They'd drop off huge stacks of ads and papers. I had to organize them myself and deliver them through this insanely hilly neighborhood. I'd sit in the garage for hours rolling them by hand, and that was the easy part before the brutal haul through the neighborhood. I made $60 a week for about 8 hours of work, which felt like a lot of money at 12, but looking back was pretty much child labor. The real value of the job was it gave me credibility as a 12-year-old who wanted to work hard. It made people take me as seriously as you can take a 12-year-old who wants a job. So here's my ratings of delivering papers. My pay rating, 1 out of 10. It paid me, but barely. Flexibility rating, 1 out of 10. The schedule was consistent and I had to be there. If I was on vacation, I had to find someone to cover my shift. Skill building, 1. I already knew how to stack papers together and how to walk up hills. I would not recommend doing this again. So all in all, not great, but a great first step on the side hustle ladder. I don't think you really need a skill to start this, and I'm not sure if newspaper delivery even exists anymore because of the internet, but I think they'll take whoever they can get. So if you want it, just go find it. Then I started babysitting. It started simple. Moms in my neighborhood asking if I'd watch their 4 to 6-year-old while they ran errands. We'd jump on the trampoline, eat popsicles, and I was making $10 an hour just to hang out. By the time I was 15, I was watching babies and changing diapers. I was getting $20 an hour and learning how to be responsible and present. So here's how I would rate babysitting. Pay rating, 7. It's not a ton of money, but it's often during hours where kids are asleep, so you can usually do schoolwork or something else while you're doing it. Flexibility rating is an 8 because you can say yes or no to whatever you want, but again, it was a lot of weekend nights, so I wanted to be out with my friends, but I chose to babysit. In terms of skills building, I would say a 7. I think parenting is the most noble job there is, and it's great to try it on training wheels mode. Despite not doing it anymore, I think it's a great gig for people who like kids and want to earn a little bit of cash. A great way to start is by going to people in your life who already have children and need someone to watch them and offering to babysit for free in exchange for them saying they have a great sitter to every other parent friend in their neighborhood to build a lucrative side hustle. From ages 13 to 15, I was a soccer referee, and this was a great job for teaching me how to stand my ground because soccer parents love to scream at refs. I remember being 13 years old, refereeing a game for 6-year-olds where I wasn't even supposed to keep score, and having a dad get in my face for not calling a ball out of bounds that clearly wasn't. So safe to say most of the value in this job was learning not to cry when people yell at you. Using the money from the first couple of side gigs I had, I took a certification course and started officiating these chaotic little house league games for 7 and 8-year-olds. It was $20 for 40 minutes of work. Eventually, I got bigger games and better pay, and the older you get, the older you could officiate. Honestly, I would still ref if I needed cash. It's a great evening and weekend side hustle, especially if you already played the sport and know the rules. If you played a sport, I think these ratings will make sense. Otherwise, you'll think I'm crazy for wanting to be yelled at for cash. Pay rating, 5. You would only ref 1 or 2 games. It wouldn't be that consistent. Flexibility rating, 7. Games don't usually go late, which is great, and there's lots of weekend work during the day. Skills building, 6. Being the person on the field that no one likes is surprisingly good for your confidence and has made me a lot better with people. This can also turn into a real career if you enjoy it and work your way up in terms of certifications. Kids sports are almost always looking for more referees. You can probably easily find a link to apply to referee or sign up for a certification through a local athletic club to get started. Here's one of my favorites, brand ambassador work. Picture this, it's the dead of summer, 4th of July just around the corner. Moms and dads flock into the grocery store, piling carts with soda and buns and enough potato salad to feed a small army. And there I am, 17 years old, wearing a branded apron and sweating through my shirt, tongs in hand, manning a portable barbecue in the blazing July heat. Yeah, I was the hot dog girl for Schneider's. It sounds kind of glamorous when you say brand ambassador, but the reality, it mostly meant standing outside of grocery stores for hours, handing out free samples to whoever would take them. I'd have kids begging their parents, college kids scoping out snacks, and retirees in search of a deal. That summer, I grilled so many hot dogs, I almost turned vegetarian. The smell followed me home, in my hair, clothes, even my car reeked of hot dogs. But honestly, I didn't really mind. It paid $20 an hour plus mileage, and I could pick my shifts. For a high schooler, that was pretty much the dream. Enough to cover gas, save a little, and still have evenings and weekends free. Funny how those little side gigs end up teaching you way more than you expected, like how to talk to strangers, smile through discomfort, and never underestimate the power of a free sample. But it paid $20 an hour in mileage, and I could pick my shifts. So, like I said, It was great. In terms of rating, I would say this is pretty high. The pay rating is a 7, flexibility rating is an 8, and skills building is an 8. I think everyone should know how to sell and pitch things to strangers. This job is pretty easy to get just by setting Indeed alerts for brand ambassador roles because most of them don't require experience. You just need to have great energy and a car in order to get to the jobs. The side hustle I've always kept around is freelance writing. I've always been a decent writer, and I learned how to write even better in university. So I started getting small gigs, assignments for magazines, marketing copy, even local newspaper stuff. I would earn about 50 to 100 bucks a piece for 2 to 3 hours of work. If you can write and keep a little portfolio, school essays count, this is an easy one to land through referrals. The pay rating is a 9. Flexibility rating is a 10. You can work anywhere and just have to meet the deadlines people give you. In terms of skills building, I would say 6. Unless you want to write for a career, then it's a 10. To start being seen as a valid candidate for writing jobs, you need experience writing, which is the stupid cycle of the career ladder. To skip that part of the cycle, networking into writing jobs is the way to go. Join the website, help a reporter out, and start offering to help writers with any commentary they need on pieces they're writing. And eventually, you can ask for their help back. In university, I had a predictable part-time job to pay for groceries. But I also worked as a campus tour guide on the side. It was just 2 to 3 hours of walking prospective students around, maybe once a week, and I got paid $70 to $80 per tour. This side gig also had some sentimental value, as I loved the university I went to, and at least 2 people came up to me a year later saying, "You were my tour guide," and they actually ended up going to the school. It's flexible hours, easy money, and it seriously helped with my public speaking and confidence. Pay rating is a 7. It was a lot of walking, and I was always exhausted after from talking and walking for 3 hours, and sometimes it was in the middle of winter. Flexibility rating is an 8. They worked with my class schedule. It was great. In terms of skill building, I'd say this is a 7. This is like sales on steroids. Imagine having to sell something for 3 hours straight. This could also be done as a city tour guide in the place you're from. I think this is another one where you kind of just need to find the job on Indeed. Fresh out of school, I wasn't making much money in my full-time job, so I picked up whatever I could. I didn't get a degree in marketing, but I noticed a lot of jobs on Indeed that were part-time marketer. When I looked at the job descriptions, they were super basic requirements like knowing how to use Canva and send out email newsletters. So I decided, despite not having the right degree, I could still do the job and use all my other side hustles experience, particularly my writing gigs, as evidence that I could do this job. I became a marketing assistant for a few small companies and nonprofits run by older people who weren't digitally native and didn't have the skills that I had. It was super casual, paid 20 to 25 bucks an hour, and never was more than 10 hours a week of work. The pay rating is a 6. It was a lot of working. Flexibility rating is a 10. I worked from home. And skills building is an 8. The skills I used and learned at all these marketing jobs are beneficial in everything. To pick up jobs like this, make sure you have some sort of portfolio you can show or resume experience that you can pull from. Starting by helping nonprofits do marketing work for free is a great way to move into paid marketing work. Around the same time I was doing marketing jobs, I leveraged that experience to start making TikToks for brands. My favorite was a health foods company that sent me snacks and said, "Make whatever you want." They paid me $60 a video, I got free food, and I got to be creative. They would do things like send me Christmas-themed items and tell me to make arts and crafts that got eyeballs on their page. So I got to sit and make reindeer out of pretzels and organic marshmallows for money. It didn't feel like work, but it definitely took a lot more time than you'd think to film a 1-minute video. Pay rating is a 7 because sometimes I would spend 4 hours on a video, which would drop the pay per hour down a lot. Flexibility rating is an 8. I spent a lot of spare time thinking about potential videos and getting ready to film, so it was usually a 6 to 7 hour ordeal, which is hard to carve time out for. Skills building, it was a 7. The best way to start making TikToks is to make TikToks on your own. I have a now deleted profile where I made stupid videos, and it was a great portfolio to show that I was already doing it well for virtually no money. As I finally moved into the corporate world, the side hustle opportunities also became more corporate. I was a member of a business operations community that mostly operated through Slack, which is like corporate Discord. I was active in the Slack and showed up to things with a lot of energy. So the founders offered me a job as an ambassador for the company. I showed up to in-person events, hosted occasionally, and facilitated Zoom calls once or twice a week. I paid $60 an hour for something I was basically already doing for free. That's the power of being visible in communities you care about. The benefit here was that I became well known in the community, which was just free, easy networking for me. This was hands down one of the best side hustles I've ever had. Pay rating is a 10. It was paying more per hour than my full-time job was at the time. Flexibility rating, 7. Skills building, 10. I'll share the best way to get into this in the next example. Now that I live in San Francisco, I throw events. Not for profit, but for perks. I needed to build up a personal network and make friends, and throwing events are a great way to do that. I was also part of another online community called the Chief of Staff Network. Eventually, it was my time to pay the $1,200 annual membership, and frankly, I didn't want to pay it. So I pitched them. Let me host events for you instead. They didn't have anyone consistently hosting events for them in the city, and I had experience doing exactly that. I showed them photos from past events and explained the things I hosted, and now I cover my $1,200 annual membership by doing what I love for free. Pay rating is a 3 because technically by the hour, it would actually just be cheaper to pay the membership, but I also get to network with my peers and be known in the community. Flexibility rating is a 10. If I can't host, they just find a replacement for me. And in terms of skill building, this is a 10. The network is extremely powerful for my career and more valuable than any amount of money. The best way to get into community ambassador work is to just pitch yourself and be a part of it. In-kind exchanges, where I offer services in exchange for services, is a great way for a business to grow without spending money. So if you find a way to pitch a business, and eventually, if you're valuable enough, you can roll it into a paid job as well. Most of those side hustles don't scale. That's why I don't do them now. But in the beginning, they mattered. They gave me financial breathing room, built my confidence, taught me how to pitch myself, and helped me figure out what I actually enjoyed doing. Now I focus on work and investing because those are the things that scale. But I started somewhere. If you're early in your journey, don't worry about building an empire yet. Just learn how to get paid for your time, your energy, and your skills, wherever they're at today. If this sparked any ideas or reminded you that your random skills are actually valuable, let me know, send it to a friend, or check the link in the description for more free resources, including my side hustle selector that will help you figure out what side hustle is best for you. Because there really is money everywhere. You just need to know where to look.